excuse me, take a few minutes to mellow out. Big Daddy Kane is on the mic and I'ma tell about a minimum length of rhymes with strength and power. So listen to the man of the hour. Flow and go to a slow tempo and you know, sing ho, swing low, then yo, the show will go on as I perform, transforming on stage like a Decepticon. But I'm not animated like a cartoon, I'm for real, shooting lyrics like a harpoon. Across the crowd, the listeners and spectators, so let's groove with the smooth operator. Just sound so smooth. Just sound so smooth.
What's up, everybody? KG here, coming at you with the first ever live stream that I'm hosting. I'm both extremely excited and extremely nervous, but I'm going to do my best to knock it out of the park today. I've got an awesome guest backstage. You may know him as the original in-depth Hex OA audit. You may know him as Mr. PulseDoge. You may know him as barefoot driving, Tesla cruising, Hex multi-millionaire, but he is my friend, Gunther. What's up, Gunther? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, I was gonna say that. Damn, that's an awesome introduction. Like, I mean, this is your first live stream, and it's like already like it's pretty good. I'm impressed.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Sorry, I'm looking a little rough. It's been a hectic day. So.
Oh, that's another part of the intro I forgot. I was gonna say you may know him as Wolverine, and look, you're living up to it.
Wolverine _2241. You can find me on Twitter.
Man, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate you coming on.
Do you have access to the public link for this? Can you send that to me so I can post it? I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's the one that we're sharing around on Twitter.
Yeah, that was the one I was looking for.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
If you have access to it real quick. That way I can post it on Twitter and all of my followers can see it and then join if they want.
Yes, sir. Private chat. And I dropped it to you.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
So for everyone watching, Gunther and I have been talking, and we are both interested in learning about each other's projects that we're involved in. Mine being the Internet Money ecosystem, Gunther's being PulseDoge, PLSD, and we're both going to come into each other's projects with an open mind, as if we've never heard about it before. I'm going to teach Gunther. Gunther's going to teach me. And if anyone has questions, feel free to drop them, and we'll do our best to get to everyone's question. Sound good to you?
Sounds like a plan. I like it.
All right. All right. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and dive right in.
Yeah.
So with the Internet Money ecosystem, we have a few things going on. We have a token that already exists. We're building a native PulseChain wallet. We're also launching 2 additional tokens as well. So the token that exists as of now is actually called Internet Money. And its purpose is to be a peer-to-peer digital cash. And, you know, hopefully one day the big dream is to replace fiat, right? But ultimately give people the means by which to transact in a decentralized way.
Okay.
It exists on Binance Smart Chain currently. We've been live on Binance since November.
Okay.
People often ask, oh, why didn't you launch on Ethereum? Well, we did, but at the time we launched, we were priced out by gas fees. It was $50 to $75 to buy $50 worth of internet money.
Yeah.
It was $1,500 to add to the liquidity pool. It was just, couldn't transact.
Yeah.
But if you hold on Binance, you do get a 1-to-1 copy on PulseChain. We've already.
I thought the copies were only for like, so it's the system state of Ethereum is being copied over. So how is it that you're getting copies from Binance Smart Chain? What's the logistics of that?
So we developed our own snapshot code. So it's not included in the native system state copy from the PulseChain fork.
Mm-hmm.
So we developed our own snapshot code, which basically takes a snapshot of all the holders and liquidity providers on Binance Smart Chain. And then it creates a database. And then when we launch the contract on PulseChain, we can do basically batch sends airdrop to that same data set. You've already done it on PulseChain testnet. So everyone has their internet money there.
Nice. That's good. Everyone gets a duplicate copy. I like it.
Exactly. And then, so you get the 1-to-1 copy. Now, where it gets really cool and really exciting is the wallet we're building. Nice. Vitamins?
Yeah, I'm taking vitamin C, men's multivitamin. I've got some apple cider vinegar gummies and some black seed oil gummies. All gummies.
Oh man, if you've ever tried black seed as the straight oil, it's awful. I don't care how healthy it is for you. I tried.
Yeah, so go with the gummies, and it's like more palatable. Is that the That's a hard word to say.
All right, so we're building a native PulseChain wallet, and when I say native, for everyone listening, it's when you download MetaMask, you're connected to Ethereum. When you download our wallet, the Internet Money wallet, you're immediately going to be on PulseChain.
Okay.
And the whole aim of our wallet is to onboard new users into crypto through PulseChain. Okay. So the UI, the layout, the flow, the explanations, the education, it all aims to be digestible, palatable, and make sense to the new crypto user.
Okay. When you say wallet, do you just mean user interface? Because the wallet, technically, if you're on Binance Smart Chain or PulseChain, would just be nothing more than the addresses, right? The addresses that actually hold the money. So when you say wallet, do you just mean user interface? Like MetaMask, for example, is not a wallet; it's a user interface. Your ledger or Trezor is not a wallet; it's a hardware device that stores seed words. Like the wallet itself, like for example on Ethereum, the ETH address is your wallet. Your money lives in that address. And technically, because Ethereum is just nothing more than nodes that are distributed across the world, your money is basically a bunch of zeros and ones distributed across nodes across the globe. So I know I'm being a little bit more. So I'm just asking, I'm asking for a clarification, I guess.
Sure. So we're basically building, for all intents and purposes, our own version of a MetaMask.
Okay, I got you. Now that's clear for me. So user interface then.
Yep, exactly. Okay. And it's going to run on top of PulseX, and then as we expand to other chains, it'll of course run on those dexes as well.
Hopefully, it'll be better than MetaMask. So, are you forking?
Oh no,
MetaMask, or this is just clean code from scratch?
Oh yeah, no, this is our code from scratch. And we're taking what MetaMask and really all the other wallets you can interact with on different chains, getting all the best features, refining the best features, and literally our whole dev team. We actually have a 9-man dedicated dev team.
Nice.
And they all are in agreement. They understand the vision. It's simplicity, beautiful flow, and has amazing features that not only the new crypto user will appreciate, but even the most advanced crypto user will appreciate.
Nice. I'll tell you the things that I can't stand about MetaMask.
Sure.
And all the things that I think that suck about MetaMask, and then maybe you could see if you could address if you guys are actually solving those problems. So for example, what sucks about MetaMask is that they keep a fee. They give you the illusion that when you swap an asset on MetaMask, that there's no middleman fee, but there actually is a fee. And that's why we're a lot of it, the analysts that look at transactions on Etherscan, we laugh at ourselves when we're laughing at the users that use MetaMask for swaps because they just don't know any better. And they're literally giving money to a middleman with the user interface that you guys are building, for, is it just going to be called Internet Money? Is that the user interface name, or a different name for the?
The name as of now is the Internet Money or Internet Money Wallet.
Okay, I got you. So, are there? I guess my question is, are there middleman fees, or is it like totally free? Like the only thing you pay is like a transaction fee.
So I hear what you're saying about MetaMask. Here's where we're a little different than MetaMask in that respect. So we do charge a transaction fee on swaps, but whereas MetaMask charges it, well, we're actually less expensive than MetaMask for one. Whereas MetaMask charges it from the asset you're swapping out of, we charge it in the native token of that blockchain. Okay. So if you swap $100 of Hex, you're getting $100 of USDC. That's what's happening. So you would just pay a slight extra fee on top of that in the native token. Here's where it gets extremely different, and the first time it's happened in the crypto space.
Okay.
Our second currency, Internet Money Dividend, or IMD, if you hold this token, you actually get a portion of the fees that the wallet generates. So 100% of the IMD supply equates to 100% of the fees that the wallet generates.
Okay, so the fees are being redistributed to whoever holds that asset.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you. Well, at least you get that, because the other way, MetaMask is keeping everything.
Exactly.
That sucks.
Exactly. And so, and what's really cool about it is you're getting the passive income you're getting in this case is Pulse. So it puts no sell pressure on the income generating asset. It's not inflationary or deflationary, fixed supply at 2 billion. We held a sacrifice for freedom of time, and about 76% of the IMD supply is distributed to the sacrifice set.
Can I ask you, with the sacrifice, how much money was raised during the sacrifice phase that you guys had?
1.6 million.
1.6 million. Okay. Because I know there's a lot of there's a lot of people in the Hex community. I know this because I've had these conversations. They're not the biggest fans of like any like of the new like tokens that have had sacrifice phases, because their perspective is like the only one that really like earned the right to do that was Richard Hart, because like he built Hex, and so then he basically earned that trust from a community, and then could hold a sacrifice for like PulseChain and PulseX, and then everyone kind of like came along, copied what he did, but hadn't really proven themselves, I guess. So I guess what would be so we've had different sacrifices. Liquid Loans, for example, I think they raised like a significant amount, maybe $50 million. Yep. Even Godwill sacrificed for Liquid Loans. I think maybe $1 million, if I remember. And some other ones, Fiat did a sacrifice. And so I'm just curious, I guess, do you have a completed product, or is it something that's still being built? I guess is my question. Sure.
So it is still being built. We give updates as often as our development team provides them to us. We are still in what's called the discovery phase, which is a total mapping out of like the entire concept of the product. And leading up to the sacrifice, the way that we were able to, I guess the reason the community trusted us, first of all, we had the Hexagon support. 600,000 of the 1.6 million was Hex. It was the biggest asset that was sacrificed.
Yeah.
And leading up to it for about a year, I worked up to being an admin in PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex telegrams. Nice. And then I'm a moderator on Hex, PulseX, and PulseChain subreddit.
All right, nice. So, thank you for your service. I mean, it's like I've done admin roles, and man, it is truly volunteer work. Like, and they're not treated that well.
I love doing it because, well, I just do. I'm passionate about this community, this ecosystem, and just the hours and hours and hours that went into it before the admin roles is what how I was elevated to the admin roles. And so I guess the community ultimately saw that what we wanted to do was good for the community, because it really is. I mean, we're targeting new money and bringing new money into the ecosystem. So
that's actually the most important thing, because I think a lot of these other tokens, like, they're almost viewed as we're like leeching off of Hex, and it's like a recycling of money, or a regurgitation of money. And I think that's very, very dangerous, because then it's like the ecosystem is like cannibalizing itself. Everyone is just swapping money
exactly
amongst themselves in the same like bubble, and that's really I think that's really dangerous. It's not helping anyone, is what I mean. It's just hurting like everyone. So I like the fact you guys are like reaching out to, like, so what would be your target audience, I guess, for bringing in new money for internet money? I guess you guys going after the Ethereum guys or Binance Smart Chain, or do you have like anything? I guess, what is the strategy to bring in the new money?
So targeting the no coiners is like target market number one. People who don't have like a dedicated chain or bias to chains.
Brand new, not even in crypto. Gotcha.
Exactly. So bring them in and make their home blockchain the PulseChain, so they don't know anything else.
Yep, go straight to PulseChain. I love it.
Straight to PulseChain. And then one thing we're doing that's also different than other wallets as well is when you download our wallet, you can claim free Pulse and free internet money, our first token. So from the moment that somebody is onboarded into crypto through PulseChain, they're going to have the gas to transact with in a token. They could send it to pay for something. They could swap it into whatever else they want without having to KYC. They get to jump right in and start transacting.
So how are they able to get free Pulse now? And this is the question I had, because I know like freepulse.io, and I just never looked into it. How are people able to get Pulse now if it doesn't exist yet, because mainnet hasn't launched? Are they just is it just that their ETH addresses are recorded as like they're recipients in the future of a set amount, or how does that work?
So like right now, for instance, Free Pulse is giving out test Pulse. We're not going to launch on PulseChain until PulseChain mainnet exists. So whenever people start claiming Pulse on our app, which it will be an Android app, iOS app, and a Chrome extension.
Nice.
But if you download the apps, when it's on mainnet, that's when you can claim the Pulse. So we're not giving away test Pulse or anything.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, nice.
Yep.
Interesting. I like I said, I've never even looked at internet money. I heard it a few times, and like I was like, "What is this? Internet money? Lol, it's all internet money."
That's the thing. That's the thing, is because one thing that we also have that's really powerful is our branding, right? Like here's the logo. Okay, there it is. It's not only nostalgic, but it's also meta and retro, right? It's in and it's comfortable to people who are older.
Yeah.
And also, it's like the term itself describes exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's internet money.
I mean, all the assets we hold, it's fake internet money.
Exactly.
Except it's, for us, it's not fake, but to the world, it's fake internet money. So I kind of like the branding. It's not bad.
Thanks.
I'm not an expert at marketing. I'm just saying my perspective. It's a lot better than the branding for Cult. I would never brand something as Cult, and then you have to read a manifesto. Has anyone ever read a manifesto? And if they have read a manifesto, it like those two words just have negative connotations. Instantly, like alarm bells go off in my head. So if you guys are listening, maybe just at least consider what I'm saying. I know we've been having some wars on Twitter about this, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the wars. I'm not going to take a stake in that war right now.
No, we don't. I'm just more like teasing.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, so ultimately, that's the overview of the ecosystem. We're doing a lot of first. One phrase I like to throw around is we are the first wallet in the crypto space tokenizing wallet fees. We are the first crypto wallet with a native token that is directly tied to the success of the wallet, and actually maybe the first token in crypto where the price chart doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it's selling for on the open market, because its value is in the pulse that it's generating. And future chains, when we launch, will have their own IMD. So we'll have the same technology on Ethereum, Binance. That's the aim.
But okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate
Play
here.
it. Play it.
All right. So if the price chart doesn't matter, and the price doesn't go up, then why would people like buy Internet Money?
To get Pulse. Internet Money dividend. Internet Money, no, that's totally different. IM, yeah, that's going to have a chart. That's going to have, we're going to create a liquidity pool for that. That's going to be a thing.
You're just talking about Internet Money dividend.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. It's kind of a long name though.
IM. That's why we call it IMD.
and the IMD kind of makes me think of what's that? Is it IMDb, like for watching movies?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Instead of watching movies, you're watching your pulse bags go up.
What's up, Ryan Lopez and chat? What's up, guys?
Yeah,
Thanks for joining. you could probably go through. You could maybe look and see if there's any good comments or questions. If
that's exactly what I was going to do, because that's about all I have. And before we'll answer some questions in chat about Internet Money, and then we'll switch over to Pulse.
Yeah, nice. I like it. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna get some ice for my coffee. 1 second.
Sure. Big Daddy Kane, that was in the intro. Glad y'all liked that. What's up, Ronnie? Appreciate you. I can't wait for it either. What's up? We got my boy Alsamac in here. GRC, what's up?
Hell yeah. Good crowd tonight.
Yeah. What about security? Great question.
Yeah.
So on version 1 of the browser extension, we will have hardware wallet support. We're working towards having hardware wallet support through the Ledger Nano X or maybe some other Bluetooth hardware wallets on version 1 for the app. That's not guaranteed. But we will be having third-party security audits on all of our technology, website, app, IMD. It'll all be audited, and security is a top priority. You know, we're
the biggest risk I see right off the bat is someone just duplicating your user interface and luring people in and stealing their seed words. Like, for example, with MetaMask.io. Guys, if you're listening and you're new to crypto, and if you get MetaMask right, make sure you check the spelling. METAMASK.io.
Yep.
Like check it like 10 times. And just make sure you go to the right one, because there's been other sites where they misspelled the URL. It's a phishing attack. They create the wallet. Now the scammer has their seed words and the user doesn't know. They're like brand new to crypto. And then they put money into that wallet and boom, instantly it's gone. We saw this so many times in the early days of Hex. It was happening all the time. People come in the chat just like devastated because they just lost all their money. So I guess that's the first thing that comes to my mind is that's a major attack vector that you guys should really focus on, is really watching out for those malicious sites that try to copy the user interface.
Absolutely. That's an important warning. Everybody, please take that with extreme sincerity. We'll obviously do our best to warn our community if we find these phishing attacks, and we'll do our best to get them taken down, because we do not want people getting wrecked. I mean, that's why you got to take your vitamins.
Black seed oil. Good if you have like thyroid issues. I have Hashimoto's disease, which is it's degenerative. It gets worse over time. It's degenerative disease.
Wow.
And your thyroid's actually it's not life threatening. You just gotta like take Synthroid or levothyroxine. Don't take that bullshit pig desiccated thyroid if you're listening. That shit is not stable. Do not do that. You'll end up seeing a doctor and your blood pressure will be really, really fucking high. It's not stable. But anyway, I heard that this does help, but I don't know. I'll be right back. Snake grab something.
Sure. Hey, if you got thyroid problems, Gunther's your guy. Ronnie, appreciate the kind words. Alsamac, appreciate the kind words. Glad to hear you're bullish. Don, you're right. What's up? Shout out to Don. He's watching. He's also the co-founder of this project. For those that don't know, Don is also my father. We got a father-son thing going
Oh,
on.
I did not know that. I've seen his name floating around. I never knew who that was.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good kid. Oh, look at that. Gunther, very good point. All the right questions. There you go. Gunther's a G.
Nice.
This is not the Richard Hart wallet. Very different project.
Yeah. Is Richard working on creating like a better version of MetaMask? Because I kind of heard that, but I wasn't sure.
All we've heard about it, we've had two, I guess, updates. Is one, he had a guy on it. Two, there was a comment on Twitter where he said, if I have extra devs, I'll stick them on the wallet, basically. So we don't have any official updates or timelines. But he said he wants to get PulseChain out first. So
I hope Richard is like whipping these devs. Like I hope he's got them like in some private like basement. They're all like tied up like sex slaves and being like whipped with like lashes. No, I'm just kidding. No, please launch PulseChain, please. I beg you, please.
I can't wait.
Everyone's like suffering because like I think maybe a lot of people, including myself, like we might have just sacrificed too much for Pulse and PulseX, and we kind of like over leveraged ourselves to some degree, and then we get hit with like this bear market, and like Hex going down like 93%, and all the other assets just crashing too. So I know people are hurting. It's a lot of it's like max pain. So
Yeah.
it'll be like such a relief when it launches. But I know like you also want it to launch when it's ready and when everything is like also timing is good. Like if you can time it with like the bottom of the bear market, I think that's smart, because then the assets that launch on PulseChain basically capture. It's like basically just up from there, like
Sure.
like over time. You know what I mean?
Sure. That would be ideal for a price chart. Richard, there was a video going around that Jesse shared that, Richard did say he wasn't trying to time the bear. He was just going to launch it when it's ready. So,
okay.
I don't know what's real. I'm not behind the scenes with him, but I think we're waiting for it to be ready thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's probably the case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm going to finish running through the comments. Yep. Rest
Yeah,
in peace, Eric.
it's sad, man.
It really is.
Oh, he sent the invite to participate. Yeah, when I first heard about that, like that was just, I never knew Eric, but just knowing that someone in our crypto community that was like well known with other people that had, died.
Yeah.
It's sad, and it was suicide, no? Or
that's what I understand.
Yeah. So I've experience with that. I lost a 26-year-old brother to suicide in 2012.
Man.
And so if anyone ever feels the need to like harm themselves, like please reach out to someone like myself or Hodprol, or maybe some of the other people in the community that might have experience with just help, they just can be there for you, listen to you, and kind of help you through it. Because there's no need to end your life because broken relationships, or because you lose your money in crypto, or there's like many different reasons. But I don't know. It's really sad to see.
It is. It is. And thank you for providing that space for people. It's very important.
Yeah. But yeah, with one, and also one comment about pools. So I know a lot of people created like a pool with Eric. Oh yeah, nice to see you, Naveen. I had lunch with him the other day. Like
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one danger to like getting involved with like pools where you like sacrifice for things. What if someone dies and you sacrifice to their pool, and they were the one that was like responsible for it? Now, like you're out of that money, right? Because I know that happened to a few people. You could ask Corey about that. So just be really careful. Like, don't take risks like that. Don't pick up pennies in front of freight trains. That's been hammered into everyone's head from Richard. It's a great philosophy. Yeah. You don't need that just to get that extra bonus multiplier, you end up losing everything. It's kind of like when someone sends you tokens, most of the time when they send you it, like instantly the first thought that crosses my mind is don't interact whatsoever. Yeah. Like I'll never touch a token. You could send me any token, because people lately have been sending me all kinds of tokens, because I hold PulseDoge and I hold like a larger position. And all of a sudden, like overnight, I got like 5 different tokens. If you guys are sending me tokens, fuck you. I'm not interacting with any of those tokens. Like I will literally run every token by like devs that I trust and have them look at it, like the security, to see if it's safe to even interact with that. But if not, it's just going to sit there dormant forever. Like I'll never touch it. So yeah, I don't think people should be don't send tokens like that. Well, yeah, it's just hard because like sometimes you're trying to like onboard people, and so it's different if a token is like trusted and secure and has value, like Hex, for example. Sure, if I can send that to people because that's trusted.
Sure.
We trust that token, but not like this new bullshit that people send you. I just assume it's just some type of malicious attack.
As you should. Assume that it's malicious first. Do your due diligence. And if proven to be good, then maybe interact with it.
Yeah, I like it. Smart.
Yeah. All right, let's keep running. If anybody has any internet money questions, we're going to transition to PulseDoge here in a minute. So feel free to ask those. I would hope so. I hope Richard Hart would be proud.
I'm pretty sure that Richard, like obviously he can't comment on any projects or products that people are building or have built because it would just be a conflict of interest, and like he hasn't researched them and all that. So he can't like openly promote things.
Of course.
He has to be careful. But I think he probably, like anything that could make PulseChain better or PulseX better or Hex better, like the things that he has created that he cares about, I'm pretty sure that he would support. If you're bringing in money to the PulseChain network and people are using the PulseX decentralized exchange and they're buying like Pulse or PulseX or Hex or whatever, or they're in the ecosystem, I'm fairly certain that he would be supportive of that. Now, obviously, there's going to be all kinds of stuff that you just can't control, like a lot of garbage where people put money and they're going to lose everything and it's going to go to zero. It's just you can't control that, right? So,
of course, yeah, and you know, it's very important for projects, good, legitimate ecosystem building projects, to build on PulseChain, because not only is that economic energy being brought into the chain, that's also developers building on the chain and basically creating jobs for developers. And the more people we have interacting with the chain, the more money we have coming into the chain, the more users we have onboarding into the chain. It's what makes it successful. It can't be successful without it. Yeah,
it can't be a ghost chain. And that's probably the number one reason why Richard like copied the entire system state of he's going to copy the entire system state of Ethereum for PulseChain, so that all the assets that everyone's already using on Ethereum can now live on that network. Like it would really suck if he just said, well, let's just copy over Hex and now it's just some ghost chain.
Exactly.
That would really suck. So be careful. So be careful, like not to be, I guess my word of caution is be careful not to be like a Hex maximalist where you're like, oh, only Hex, only Hex. Guys, I love Hex. I'm a shark in Hex. I got average stake length of 11 years. Like I have a long game with Hex. It's like a 10 to 15 year game, if not longer. But I think at the same time, we need to like have open minds for Pulse, for PulseX, for PulseDoge, Internet Money, that kind of thing. Because if not, you could lose some opportunities, and next thing you know, you're in the salt mines perpetually, whining and moaning. Oh, why didn't I listen to those guys?
Sure. Yeah, I completely agree. We'll circle back to questions like this more towards the end. Let's see. As far as Hex stakes, version 1, we will not support that. Maybe something in the future. That's what I believe he's referring to here.
Wait, what does that mean? What do you mean by Hex stakes version 1?
Version 1 of our product.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. May just defer to Staker on that one, but we'll see. So the sacrifice was for IMD. PulseDoge coin for life. And all right, Don the man, appreciate you acknowledging my existence. Man, your existence is valuable. Thanks for being here. All right. Well, it doesn't look like anyone else has any internet money questions, so floor is yours. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. Maybe you guys can like the video, subscribe, and then go on Twitter and share so that other people can join, make it a more lively engagement. Sure. So yeah, so PulseDoge. Okay. So PulseDoge was launched out of the blue. Like there was just some dev hex.info, and he's not the original hex.info, by the way. Because there was originally in the early days of Hex, there was a hex.info, whoever created that. Well, this guy just basically bought that domain, right? But it's not the original hex.info. But he founded PulseDoge and launched it, and like without telling anyone. It was just like, here you go. And okay, so let's see if I can just give you the quick synopsis. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I'd say so.
A quick overview of PulseDoge. Okay, so if you had any active hex stakes as of April 20th at some set time or whatever, they had to be legacy stakes, not HSIs. Then you can free claim PulseDoge based on staker leagues, and the leagues are predefined by like how many like T shares you have for like whatever length of time, right? Oh, what did I want to kind of lost my train of thought for a second. Yeah, so you can't. So technically, you could actually claim with HSIs, but you would just never actually get the money. So HSIs exist in the set of addresses, like when you mess around with like Merkle tree. No, I don't understand any of that stuff, but basically just some set of addresses that are able to claim PulseDoge because they had active hex stakes. So you could claim technically with HSIs, but you would just never be able to access it because the money is just sitting in some contract. No admin keys, right? Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so if you had native legacy stakes as of April 20th at some set time, then you can claim. Just go to PulseDoge.com. Now there was some other PulseDoge that launched on Binance Smart Chain. I think it's PulseDoge.win or something like that.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one, I don't know how that one's doing, but I think it's dying. I'm not trying to be a hater, but I think that one's going to like basically go to zero. So if you guys hold that asset, come over to PulseDoge.com because the whales are in PulseDoge.com, and the whales in PulseDoge are like, if you look at like top wallets, they're like Hex Sharks or Hex Dolphins, right? There's some like big players. So you could go on Etherscan and be able to like look up some of the top wallets and start doing research. Like you could paste in their addresses into apphex.win to look at like their staking ladders, or you could also paste into stakehex.today, and you could just see like all of their like T shares, their present value, and basically look at all their stakes. So we would recommend that. Like look at those wallets. I learned a long time ago, don't put your money into things where you don't see like big money, like putting their money into it. Like if big money is leaving something, like you probably shouldn't be entering it. If they're not even there, you probably shouldn't be entering it. But if you start to see big money and so let me kind of like build off of that. So since some of the large wallets are like Hex Dolphins and like Hex Sharks, you have to think that those guys actually know how to hold, because especially if they have like long like stake lengths, right? Like my average stake length is 11 years. I just live very frugally off of quarterly stakes, but the majority of money is pushed 10 years out, pushed 15 years out. So even though, unfortunately, I have a label of rugger of Hedron, even though I sold Hedron, guys, I'm pretty sure I know how to hold. Now I'm just one player, right? But there's many others that exist, and people can research the wallets on their own. Now you have to think too. So what's interesting is that the ones that could claim PulseDoge for free are Hex stakers. So literally the airdrop was dropped to essentially the best holders in all of crypto.
Sure. Because
the staker class knows how to delay gratification, even though you still see some people emergency end stake and sell the bottom at 5 cents, and they do a lot of dumb things. But just generally speaking, if you look at all of the like user-owned hex in circulation, well, let me just say all of user-owned hex, 75% of those tokens have been staked. There's only 25% in circulation.
Wow.
So so users are actually using hex as designed, as intended.
Based on the tokens that are not OA tokens is what you're coming up with that number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've crunched through the numbers. I don't want to share anymore in public. I want to keep like the spreadsheets and the ETH addresses more private.
Sure.
But it's about 75% that they've staked, and then they keep 25% liquid.
Cool number to know.
Yeah. Because if you look at the other site, then it just I forget which site, but you might think that there's only 10% that have actually staked, but it's very misleading because the other wallets are just like the money's just sitting dormant.
Sure.
Those wallets act as monetary policy for the asset. It's so that users can get, a pretty stable like 38% APY for like these really, really long stakes. Shorter, of course, if you stake like short period of time, then you're going to get less, like 11% or 12% or 13%. I forget what it is. Okay, let's see what else. And stop me if you got like any questions.
Yeah. So let me take it back. So it has all the PulseDoge been minted into existence, or is there still some that can be claimed?
No, it's still coming into supply. Okay, so it's a 100-day claim phase. That's a great question. Thanks for asking. 100-day claim phase. I think, let me just check to see how many days are left. Give me 1 second.
Take down.
Okay, yeah, 48 days, 14 hours. Basically 48 days left to claim.
Okay. If
you haven't claimed, feel free to claim. You could claim it, you could dump it, you could hold it, you could buy more. You could stake it in one-sided LP positions, V3 Uniswap at like really high prices. There's a lot you could do.
Okay.
And I'll flesh that out a little bit more. I'll flesh that out a little bit later. So why PulseDoge, I guess, is probably a good question, right?
It's a good question, yeah.
Oh no, I didn't finish answering your question about like the minting. Okay. So every time someone claims, obviously more supply is coming into circulation. If every single address claimed that's in the set of claimable addresses based on the Merkle tree, then the max supply would be like 12 million plus on the ETH network. If you consider PulseChain, because this would be duplicated over, then it would be like 24 million. However, like it's not gonna, like not every address is going to free claim. That's just, I'm telling you right now.
No, of course.
No way. We saw it with Hex. We saw it with Hedron. Impossible. I think we're already getting to that point of like where there's just the claims are basically just trickling in. There's not that much. So I think in the end, maybe we would have the max supply on the ETH network would maybe be like 6 million, maybe 7 million if like the price started like going on some bull run and then more people started to claim. Maybe, I don't know. I don't see it larger than like 5 to 7 million. Then if you consider it being copied over, we're looking at like 10 to 14 million total across both networks.
Okay.
When the 100-day claim phase ends, then there's a function that can be run where it gives the origin address and hex, the one ending in 7C03. Okay. It gives that address 10 tokens per address that claimed. And
wow.
Then so that's a very like generous gift. And then there's another address that also gets the same amount called the BA, which is the benevolent address. Nobody knows who owns the benevolent address or what they're going to do with it, but that's just, they also get the same amount.
And that's a PulseDoge specific address.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct. So OA and BA. So they each get 10 times the number, basically the number of addresses that claim. You could look this up on Etherscan. So I could check real quick, actually. Etherscan.
So while you look that up. So in theory, let's say everyone were to claim. We know it's not going to happen. Is this 10 times per address that claims on top of that? Or is there a total supply already, a total potential supply already calculated?
No, so that's already included with like the max, like assuming every address claimed plus OA and BA where they get 10 tokens per address, then the max would be 12 million.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I mean, we're
Cool.
talking about
Okay.
super, super scarce.
Okay.
This is the first meme coin actually to have a scarce supply. Uh, look at Doge. People don't understand. Okay, so Doge inflates. Their inflation is 10,000 tokens per minute,
It's crazy.
which turns out to be about 5.2, give or take, billion tokens per year. And the price, the last time I looked, is probably less right now, but just the last time I checked, it was like 8 cents.
Right.
But assuming you wanted to paint the price sideways at 8 cents, you would need to inject about $420 million into Doge annually just to paint the price sideways at 8 cents. What that tells me is that's a very inefficient use of capital and money. And the guys in Doge, please, if you guys are listening, I would strongly encourage you to sell your Doge and swap it for PulseDoge, because PulseDoge essentially solves all the problems that exist in Doge. So you know how like Hex solves all the problems that exist in Bitcoin. PulseDoge solves all the issues with Doge. There is a scarce supply with PulseDoge, zero inflation. Look at the supply of Doge. I don't know what it is, but look at the hyperinflation. 10,000 tokens per minute.
Forever.
Yeah, forever. Like I don't know. Does that change? I'm not sure if it change. Does it decrease at all, or is it just constant? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I need to like dig a little bit deeper to find out. So rather than me just releasing like false information about them,
Sure.
I'll dig deeper. But at least right now, we could say it's 10,000 tokens per minute. Now you also have players in Doge that just dump it. Like I'm talking about larger players, and they even FUD their own bags. Obviously, you can't really control that in markets. But what we're trying to do with PulseDoge is attract more like benevolent players that are willing to like delay gratification for the longest possible time, so that other smaller players could actually have the opportunity to become wealthy if they indeed hold. Holding is very hard. It turns out. It turns out that buying something and holding, so buying is like half the battle, but the other half is just holding it and doing nothing. But the problem is that people just love to trade assets, and what happens is the volatility washes them out. Like they see PulseDoge pump up to $5.04 or $5.67, and they just cash out and they try to trade it. But what happens is most of the time people just suck at trading, including myself. Like I've only made a few good trades my entire life. It was recently, ironically, but yeah, it just like don't trade, guys. Like you're going to get wrecked. Like buy it and hold it. So what we're trying to promote in the PulseDoge Telegram chat, and then we also market it on Twitter, is that you don't just need to like hold your tokens liquid in your wallet, hoping and praying that you might have enough like discipline to like not actually hit the sell button.
Sure.
So what we're trying to teach people is like, hey, go on like Uniswap, like V3, and create like a one-sided LP position. Like if you know that you want to sell, for example, if you know that you want to sell PulseDoge when it's like $100, well, it's going to take a while till we get there, right?
Sure.
So why not just stake it for right now? Stake it in LP position. You would just pay ETH transaction fee to add the liquidity, and then when you're ready to remove it, you would pay that transaction fee. It's a little bit on the pricey side, but if it could protect you from like you just selling out your stack, then it would probably be good for you. And you don't have to. So anyway, with these LP positions, you could basically create like a specified price range. Let's say your target is like $100. Well, maybe you allocate, let's say 10% of your position, right, or whatever percentage you decide. You allocate that in an LP pool from $100 to, let's say, 110. So then what happens is when the price reaches that level and starts trading in that range, then people come into that pool, they buy up your PulseDoge because it's one-sided. You don't have USDC and you don't have Hex in there. There's two different pairs, right? There's PulseDoge Hex, PulseDoge USDC. So let's just say you choose the PulseDoge Hex pair. What happens is buyers come in, they buy up your PulseDoge and leave behind Hex. And then if they buy through your sell wall, from $100 to $110, I'm just speaking in USD terms now, then you basically walk away with the hex, and these guys have their PulseDoge. So what's happening is you're actually pushing the price up. You're not putting sell pressure on the asset, even though you've created a sell wall. When the buyers buy through it, you're moving the price up, and you're walking away and extracting value in a very responsible way. You're just not murdering the price chart. It's a form of staking. You actually earn fees too. While the price trades in that LP position, you're earning fees. You don't have to keep clicking your hardware device like a million times. You're not moving the price up against yourself or down. You're not moving the price, I guess, down against yourself because it's a sell wall, right? And you can also create these for buy walls too. So we're educating people on how to do this. Yeah.
And so you earn the fees when people trade either on the Hex PLSD pair or the USDC PLSD pair.
No, so it depends on which liquidity position you set up, because you could do Hex, you could do PulseDoge Hex or PulseDoge USDC.
Got it.
So then you earn fees, and then so when you close your position, so if somebody's bought through your sell wall, you definitely need to remove your liquidity. Like you want to remove your position, so you take away your Hex plus whatever fees you earned, and so you basically just close it out, and that was your way of like responsibly extracting value. Instead of, because with Hex, like what we saw a lot and what we continue to see is just people mega dumping, pulling LP positions and dumping 140 million Hex, and then like crashing the market to like 3.6 cents. And yes, we could probably make arguments as to why that might be good, because then it gives all the guys that want to be buyers, it gives them an opportunity to buy the dip, buy the opportunity, and strengthen their position. But then it also mega wrecks everyone's wallets, and that sucks. So there's pros and cons to all these different strategies of buying and selling.
So let me ask you another question. So I understand, adding liquidity in a normal pool. You've got to have both sides of the pair. And for those that don't know, you just put in both assets of the trading pair. So in this case, we could say PulseDoge and Hex. And when someone trades from one to the other, you're subject to earn some fees on that trading. What's the difference between that and what you just described? If I'm only putting PulseDoge up, right? Because that's what you're saying with the single.
Yeah. Right? If you're only putting PulseDoge up, then it's a sell wall. If you're only putting up USDC or only putting up Hex, then it's a buy wall. Let me give an example. So at one point, the price in PulseDoge was pushed up to like $5.04. Then it kind of crashed. Not crashed, but corrected or whatever. And there was a player that set up a buy wall. It's actually a very generous buy wall from what was it? I think it was $3.69 and $3.31. It was like $143,000 buy wall.
Now, is that a limit order? What do you mean buy wall?
So it was just USDC. It was one-sided LP position of USDC. So then as sellers, not a limit order, as sellers sell their PulseDoge between the range of 369 and 331, then what's happening is the balance has changed between PulseDoge and USDC in this pair. And by the time you make it all the way to like, let's say $3.30, then the buy wall has completely been eaten through. And then the LP provider pulls their position. Now they walk away with all PulseDoge and all their USDC is gone. There's a risk that if the price trades in this range and then goes back the other way to where it passes $3.69, now it's like $3.70, then what happens is all your PulseDoge was bought out by somebody else, and you're left with just a bag of USDC. So you have to understand this is basically advanced trading, but it's an intelligent way to enter or exit a market in like a dollar cost average way, because you could set up multiple LP positions and you're saving on ETH gas fees. You're not pushing the price up against yourself, and you're not pushing the price down against yourself, depending on whether it's like a buy or sell wall. You're earning fees. And it's basically just like stake and chill, basically. Like, it's simple.
Sure.
And a lot of people don't know how to do this. You could go into the PulseDoge Telegram chat, and you could just type in !video, and it'll give you a list of all the videos that we've ever done for PulseDoge.
Nice.
And it's really nice. Like all the live streams, everything. Even this one will be added to that.
Nice.
We just keep adding to the list, and then there's a video on like how to like create these like buy and sell walls.
That's really good because like you can see in the comments and just overall, we're entering into advanced crypto, and these conversations are great. You know, they're stimulating. We should all, if we are crypto nerds, which I think you and I definitely are, and I think there's a lot of people that get into crypto that become crypto nerds, and that's not derogatory. That's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
But okay, but let's take it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm somebody who's either new to crypto, doesn't know crypto. Why am I getting into PulseDoge?
Yeah, great question. So people in crypto don't care about solving the Byzantines' general problem. They don't give two fucks about computer science or mathematics or about like really advanced tokenomics. They really don't care. It's going to go right over their head. If you make something too complicated, I actually don't think they'll hit the buy button because they're just going to be super confused.
Sure.
Even with Hex, like it just took so many live streams to just teach people about, because there's like a lot of complexities to it. It's very like nuanced.
Yes.
But it turns out that eventually over time, people will learn and you can teach them and try to, you start to get good at like breaking it down in a simple way. But a lot of times with just like people that are no coiners, it's simple. Token has dog, buy button, right?
Number go up.
Yeah. Or I even saw like some advertising on Twitter today I thought was clever. It's these like girls like twerking, and I'm not sure what they're building some type of, I know they were marketing and basically farming my engagement. Sure. It's all good because everyone on Twitter is essentially farming the other person's engagement. Yep. Yeah, we're all exactly. Just like farmers basically.
Yep.
But it's just funny because like I started like texting like just for like, you know, trolling and just to be fun and have a good time. But anyway, they were twerking or whatever, and I was like, damn, that could probably like take off. Like I could see people just hitting the buy button because of girls like twerking, right? Sure. But the same concept. Like, what do people love? They love dogs, right? So they like look at Doge. You think people don't love dogs and like hit the buy button as a result? Why did Doge go up so high? Why did Shiba go up so high, or some of these other ones, right? So, yeah. So that would be it's just a good way to get people into crypto that are like no coiners, but also what our target audience. Can't talk. I'm
all good.
Coffee and like I'm like my brain is like wired. Vitamins and like lemonade. I'm like crossfaded on coffee, lemonade. I haven't really eaten like a real meal except for like a sausage cheddar at Starbucks. But yeah. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So our target audience is not to leech from Hex, and I've been like really trying to drive home this point, like on Twitter and also Telegram chat. But we want to actually outreach to all the meme coiners. And I think it's a good place. Just start with Doge. Try to take away their customers. We need to convince those guys that Doge is actually not good for their wallets. And in the end, it's a win-win because we save all those guys from financial ruin, and we allow them the opportunity to inject that capital into this asset, which could do really, really well. So let's talk about, maybe we could just pause here for a second. Let's talk about the economic mass and energy to push the price up of Doge versus PulseDoge. We already described it takes basically $420 million just to paint the price sideways at 8 cents every year. It means every year could go by and you would just be injecting another $420 million. That means there's too much liquidity. It takes too much energy or economic mass or resources to push that price up. The same problem exists with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin, if I had to take an educated guess, and this is just my opinion, I could be 100% wrong. I don't think Bitcoin will ever see higher than $69,000. Here's why. When multi-billionaires buy Bitcoin and countries buy Bitcoin, there's no one, and it barely moves the price. There's no one left in the world to push it up. There's no one left in the world that's willing to inject that much money just to push the price up. Bitcoin has had a great rally. None of us would be here without Bitcoin. 2008 to 2022, I'm going to call the death of Bitcoin on this live stream. I think $69,000 is Elliott Wave 5, Twin Peaks. It was a double peak. And notice, I think Elliott Wave 3 was like the run from like 168 to like $20,000, like that just mega bull run. And then we had the crash of 2017. That was like a Wave 4. And then notice how weak Wave 5 is. And I know a lot of people don't like Elliott waves, but I think it does a pretty good job in this case, because I'm talking about Elliott waves on the monthly chart, not on some daily or weekly chart. So we're talking about like like a lot of price history. I would say it hit close to 69,000, and then that double top, it was just slightly higher, just to kind of lure you into the market, make you think that it's going to 100,000 or 200,000 or to a million or 10 million. These delusional moon boys are just luring you into a market and will only use your money as exit liquidity. And I don't think it'll be an instant death. I actually think maybe because it took, so think about, like, you're good with math, like parabola, right? Like f of x equals x squared, right? Just basic like math equation. Okay, it's just a giant U. Can't see the skin. All right, so a giant U. So I see Bitcoin as like negative x squared. Just flip the parabola, and I see the point of inflection, the critical point is 69,000, and I think maybe it's just like maybe it takes like 14 years, and it's just like a slow death. Like every high is just like a lower high, and then every injected money is just used as exit liquidity. But people always buy it because they're like, buy the dip, look at the opportunity. And like we don't need Bitcoin to survive for crypto to survive. Where's MySpace? Look at Facebook, right? Where's Netscape and like AOL? Like, sure. Right? Like, so, and it could still exist, but maybe it's just a really low value, right? So I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. So anyway, let me go back. Let me try to drive home the point. PulseDoge. PulseDoge is a brand new asset. It has really, really low liquidity. It launched with 50,000 PulseDoge and 50,000 USDC in a liquidity pool. It turns out the founder, which I'm not sure really why he did this. Like, I wouldn't have done this, but this was just his play. Ended up burning the initial liquidity after we had like enough liquidity. I think, you might, yeah, exactly. Like, why? I'm not sure.
Do you mean the LP tokens that he got from providing liquidity?
No. So like there was an initial LP pool that was set up of 50,000 PulseDoge and 50,000 USDC. Now, bear in mind, he used his own money for the USDC, and then he gave when the contract was built, it was designed that 50,000 PulseDoge would be set up for like that initial like LP position, so that the token would have some liquidity. So it was. But my point is, it launched with very low liquidity. Sure. Right now, the last time I looked, the liquidity is let me pull up. Let me check real quick.
While you look at that, do we know the founder of PulseDoge? I mean, you may, but like, does the public?
No one knows what he looks like. We just know what his voice sounds like, and he goes by hex.info. He's more of an anonymous figure. I think he's trying to play like a Satoshi type of role.
Gotcha.
So when I saw that, I was like, well, this token needs a face on it. Like, we can't have like a nameless, faceless thing. Like,
not anymore.
Not anymore. Like,
no.
Well, I sort of just, no one asked me to. I just sort of just stepped up and took the initiative. I was like, all right, let me roll with it. I've injected a significant amount of money into it. Let me just roll with it and just do my part to like market it and see how things go. It's a giant experiment. We don't know if this could be a complete like flop and like failure. Or it could be a total success. Like, does this go to zero? Because things do die in crypto. So we don't want to mislead people. Like, there is risk in any type of investment. Or is this like, if you miss Doge, PulseDoge is like your opportunity. Just like if you miss Bitcoin, Hex was your opportunity. Or even if you missed like Ethereum, PulseChain is your opportunity, right? Sometimes opportunity is staring you in the face, but you don't have the courage or the balls or the guts or the intelligence, or you just don't have the risk appetite, really. Let's face it.
Gumption.
Yeah, you don't have the gumption to actually take risks like that. For me, like I'm a risk taker. That's just what I do. I've been taking risks like for a long time, my whole life. So, but yeah. Anyway, here's the point that I was trying to get back to. The liquidity is ultra low for PulseDoge. It launched at liquidity of like 50,000. It's somewhere sitting around. The liquidity is at like $330,000. Still relatively low. What does this mean in terms of price performance? Well, when the liquidity is low, you want that for a brand new asset, because that implies that if you hit the buy button, it's easier to push the price up. Now, it also works in the opposite way. If you hit the sell button, it's easier to push the price down. You can't have the liquidity too low, because then there's you get to like giant wicks and stuff like in both directions. It's not really like stable. So there needs to be, and I'm not an expert at this, guys. Like I'm just like sharing my experience. It needs to be like a sufficient amount of liquidity, which we really have. I think the liquidity right now is pretty good. So what does this mean for price? Well, it turns out that like the price of an asset is nothing more than the ratio of the two assets that are bonded together, right? For example, PulseDoge USDC. As people buy and sell PulseDoge, that ratio changes, and the ratio allows you to have a different price in terms of USD. Mm-hmm. So these things work in squares. So for example, the liquidity is at $330,000. Let me just give you an idea of how much money it takes to 100x the price. If you want 100x the price of PulseDoge is at $2.39. So if you want PulseDoge to trade at $239, then all that you have to do is multiply the liquidity by the square root of 100, which is 10, right? So
it has to go to 3 mil.
So basically, my point is you only need $3.3 million minus 330,000, because that already exists. So basically, you would just be multiplying 330,000 times the square root of 100 minus 1, because 1 already exists, right? But just for simple math, not to confuse people.
Sure.
Basically, 10x the liquidity, and you'll 100x the price. What I mean by that is if somebody steps into the market, like Godwell, for example, in Hex, I'm not saying what I'm just saying as an example, somebody with a large wallet, if they just stepped in and hit the buy button with like $3.3 million, it would 100x the price. I wish. I'm just another pleb trying to survive in this world. But yeah, so anyway, my point is this: we don't need $420 million to come in just to paint the price sideways of an asset at 8 cents. We only need 3.3 million, and we can 100x the price. So a lot of people don't understand this. This shit, they're not good at math, or they just don't have enough information or knowledge with this stuff. And so they look at a chart and make decisions off that. And my caution to you is never make decisions just like what you see on a price chart. Go look at liquidity. What is the liquidity? Who are research the wallets that are involved? What is the psychology of the players involved? Like you could research, like I said, all the top wallets of PulseDoge, and you could start to form like an assessment of their behavior. But you have to be careful. You might jump to wrong conclusions in that assessment. For example, you might look at like my wallet and be like, that guy rugged Hedron, therefore he'll always be a rugger. Rugger is a poor term, by the way. I sold my position all at once, and I owned it.
You're entitled to. I mean, you could argue that there's more responsible ways to sell, but you're entitled to sell your assets. I mean, you can't buy groceries with a dime in hands.
Yeah, exactly. People are entitled to swap assets that they think will not do well, right? But anyway, we've addressed that issue on other streams. But yeah, the point is, what was the point of this?
Pay attention to like many factors of a
yeah. Look at don't just assume that one wallet will always have the same behavior indefinitely. What if you assume that about a person? Let's say let's say you're a smoker, right? You like to, or let's take myself. I used to smoke American Spirits. When I moved from the state of Texas, I didn't buy any more cigarettes. I think I might be bought like one pack, just because for me it's like chill. Like I like to like light up, like it's kind of nice at night, like light up a cigarette, and it's only tobacco and water, right? So if you are going to smoke a cigarette, it's a little bit better, but it's still bad for your health. You can still get cancer. My point is this: just because I smoke cigarettes doesn't mean I'll always be a smoker. Just because an address mega dumps in a certain unique instance and reallocates that money into another asset doesn't mean they'll always mega dump, right? And by the way, the majority of that money from that sale was injected into PulseDoge. It wasn't to go buy Lambos. Where's the jewelry? There's no Rolexes. I'm not putting down, guys. I have jewelry or whatever. I drive a $146,000 Tesla, right? So I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying I didn't use that money to go buy fancy things. I reallocated that asset into something else to give an asset that had no value. I actually injected money so that free claimers could take more money out in a bear market. I gave away that money to free claimers.
So you basically staked not necessarily your anti-Hedron, but your team PulseDoge, and you took a win, a dub, so to speak, for PulseDoge where you could.
Yeah, so it sucks because it kind of hurt Hedron, but let's face it, guys were already dumping in Hedron, and then guys murdered the price. Like I was certainly not the only seller. So I mean, so unfortunately one asset suffers, but then it gave birth to the other asset. So I think the PulseDoge guys, first of all, need to be very grateful and realize that PulseDoge would not exist without Hex, because it was airdropped to Hex stakers. But also a lot of the money that was injected to PulseDoge would not have been possible unless Alex created Hedron. So we should be exceedingly grateful and thankful to him, because not only did he create Hedron, which is a perfect like solution with HSIs for like over-the-counter like trades for like large bags of Hex, but then he also created a way for like millionaires in Hex to inject capital into like a brand new asset. Just give me 1 second. I just have to take care of something. 1 second.
Sure.
You could maybe go through the comments if you want. Or
Sure. So we're going to get to questions here in a moment. If you have questions for Gunther about PulseDoge, go ahead and ask. I see one question here. Hey, coffee is a good thing. But hey, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. Temperance. We'll get back to your question, Rothko. Yeah, coffee's a good fuel. What's up, Bob Legay? And he's back. And Gunther, we do have a question if you want to address it.
yes.
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. So the tokenomics about like the distribution. Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So there was basically a bell curve distribution. So what does that mean, right? It just sounds like a fancy term. Like I don't know what necessarily bell curve means, but so like the whales can, for each of their addresses, or let's say if you're a whale, you could claim 300 tokens. Sharks can claim 600 tokens, dolphins 900. And then everyone else below that, it just starts to drop off. It like goes to 750, 265, like 100, 20, 25, 12, and 5, something like that. I might have gotten the numbers wrong, but you can look on PulseDoge.com. But it sort of just drops off. It's very interesting because it's not rewarding. It's not giving out too many tokens at once. That's number one. And it's not like a perpetual minting. And there's no like bonus like multiplier attached to it. Like we see the problems in real time with that, with like Hedron, for example. It's inflating too fast. And so it just puts too much sell pressure on the asset all at once. So there is no like bonus multipliers. There is no like unlimited minting. And there's also like, you don't get that much. So what is the advantage to that? This is the beauty of it. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a bunch of, so let's just talk about like how this plays out. A lot of people are just going to like mint their free coins and dump it. They're like, hey, I got free money. And you're free to do so. Like if you got like 900 tokens, you could sell that at $2.39. That's an excellent airdrop. Go ahead and cash out. That's over $1,800. It's a bear market. Go Go use that to buy some clothes or pay for rent or whatever, make some car payments or whatever you want to do with it. It's like your money. Like,
Sure.
Or you could buy Hex and like stake it for like 15 years or something. It's free money. Or you could just hold it and see how it performs. And then you're going to have some people that actually are like, I kind of like it. I like what this is about. I like all the engagement on Twitter. I like all the engagement with the memes. And like, it's a very like lively, like fun, like energetic chat in Telegram that's growing. It's over 1,400 members in a very short span of time. You might be like, well, I like this. I'm going to go ahead and hit the buy button as well. So you might just add to your position. So the sell pressure so let's talk about the buy and sell pressure. The sell pressure in the asset is from free claimers just claiming and dumping, or they let the price kind of go up and then they dump again. And I noticed we did some experiments, right, where we'd kind of like inject some capital and we lure the sellers out. But these were all mouse traps. We were trapping the free claimers. Sure, let's give you a little bit of liquidity. We'll go ahead and inject $50,000 or $100,000 or $200,000, and you can go ahead and dump right into our wallets. And this is how the large wallets built their positions, which brings up a very important point. You cannot crash the market of PulseDoge. By the way, I got to go in about 10 minutes or so. I got to take my daughter somewhere, but so I'll do my best to kind of wrap it up and maybe hit some other questions. But you cannot murder the price chart of PulseDoge unless you buy your way in. And I think that is a powerful tokenomic in and of itself. That is the buy pressure. A lot of people, they're tired of getting dumped on in other assets where they don't have control. So the value proposition for PulseDoge is, hey, if you made a lot of money in some assets, or even if you didn't make that much and you want a stronger position, you could easily enter the top 100. Some players can easily enter the top 10. Some of the larger players have like 50,000 tokens or more. You could easily accomplish that, and if you have like enough like cash or dry powder, and that is your opportunity to become a whale. I would basically classify a whale as like any wallet that has like 50,000 tokens or more across like all their wallets. I would because think about it, 50,000 times what, $2.39. That's roughly 100,000 plus, right? Whatever that is.
Sure.
So $3 would be 150,000. So between 100 and 150,000, almost 125,000, a little bit less. So anyway, my point is this. This is your opportunity to become a whale in an asset. We don't just want like any random whale. We are trying to attract whales that are willing to hold for like a 10,000x return on investment in hex terms. PulseDoge versus hex, not USD terms. Like, we want this to do really, really well. I won't make any price predictions. I just don't really feel comfortable doing that. And plus, guys, you guys know that I'm a moon boy, and like everyone's like, when's 2960 in hex, right? Like, I'm just like, I'm the one that started the whole 2960. Like, hex will go to 2960, and like I was just 100% wrong. So like, I don't want to make I just like moon boy math, right? I don't want to make delusional like moon boy predictions. I would just say, if you like the asset and you believe in it and you think it could do really well and you missed your opportunity in Doge, this could be a good play for you.
Okay. Let's see. Does anybody else have any questions for Gunther? I'll stick around for a few minutes after he jumps off. But before he goes, does anyone have any questions for him regarding PulseDoge? I guess, there was one other question up here that I said I'd save for the end. Oh, well, Gunther for Doge Mayor.
Nice. I like it.
Gunther brought me here.
Oh, yeah. Battery 79. Great. One of my favorite hexagons.
Nice.
And Bob the guy. So many guys I know. Oh, damn. I got to plug in my battery here. She's about to die on me.
Yep. Here it is. Can you? Okay, so Breck says, Gunther, what projects are you most excited about on PulseChain?
All right, so I'm just going to be straight with people. I never I never really promote things that I don't actually. I got to be honest. I never really promote things that I don't actually hold or own myself. And even if I hold them, if I don't think it's in the best interest of other people's wallets, I also won't promote it, even if I hold it myself. So I'm very cautious with this. I don't want to be seen as some shiller or influencer, even though people look at me that way in sometimes or some aspects, I guess. I would rather just tell people what I honestly think about the assets. Like I'm not some paid shill. I won't compromise like my own ideas about what I think will perform or what will outperform everything else. So I'll just give you the bag of what I think. And you might be like, well, that's just ownership bias. You're just like pumping your own bags.
Be biased.
And there might be a strong element of truth in that. And I at least I have enough introspection and self-awareness to see that. But I'm not going to just like randomly just promote a bunch of stuff that I haven't even done the research on. Don't know.
Sure.
I would say this: your best chance of becoming really wealthy in crypto, in all of crypto right now, I think, is Pulse, PulseX, Hex, and PulseDoge. I would say those four. I like that package. I like that bundle. I think that has the strongest possibility of being like the most like successful package to hold.
Sure. All right. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and maybe I could just state why, and then I'll bounce, and people can just like think about it, and then like you can
Go ahead.
continue on with internet money or whatever you guys want to talk about.
Go ahead.
But I would say Pulse, because it's the native token of PulseChain. It's like getting into ETH at the very beginning, at the inception, and look how well ETH performed for Ethereum. PulseX, because it's the major, like the primary decentralized exchange on PulseChain. And like, I don't even know like all the details of PulseX just because I've just been so like wrapped up in like other things that I myself haven't like fully dug through it. And there's a lot of things I just don't understand. But I would just say, because it is the primary decentralized exchange, it's another Richard Hart product. I think it's just going to be good. Do I think that PulseX will outperform Pulse? Fuck no. Fuck no. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I also don't see these delusional moon boy predictions of like, oh, Pulse $1, PulseX $1. Guys, trillions of tokens. We know that market cap's a vanity metric. I know, we get it. But the fact is, if you got a large bag and your bag, like, how long do you think it would take to get to $1? Maybe you could reach that in like 5 days or something. Like it's not like, oh, it instantly is going to be $1 in like 2 years or some bullshit nonsense. So I want to be perfectly like clear and honest and like set proper expectations for people rather than misleading people into like some delusional moon boy math that they trust in, and then maybe they miss opportunities to maybe cash out or scale out of some of their position at like peaks. That's just something that I've learned in the markets. Hex, come on, it's a no-brainer. Best financial product in crypto in human history, bar none. No one competes, no one. If you haven't built a staking ladder, that should be your primary focus. Now, could you put your money into something else and grow that into a large bag first and then build the staking ladder? Yeah, like you don't necessarily need to build the staking ladder first, because Hex is also like a more mature asset. So maybe if you're a smaller player and don't have much money to play with, maybe it's a better play for you to put $1,000 into something like PulseDoge or something and then go that route, right? Maybe grow that and accelerate that wealth over 2 years, then come back into Hex and create the beautiful staking ladder that you wanted in Hex where you didn't have that much money. So it just depends on your circumstances. If you've already built a beautiful staking ladder in Hex, maybe you could afford a small percentage that's like 1% or less of your position to go into like PulseX or Pulse or PulseDoge or some of these other assets. So I just think just to kind of summarize, and then of course PulseDoge is your meme token play with scarce tokens, with zero inflation, with extremely smart people that hold large wallets, that have long stakes, that know how to hold, that know how to defend and protect the price, that care about the users that are involved within the community. And they want to make a lot of people wealthy. Like for me, my personal objective, I want to create multimillionaires like Richard Hart did in Hex. That's what I want to do with PulseDoge. Will it be a success? I have no idea. It could totally fail and go to zero. I have no idea. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to at least try.
Sure. I hear that completely. And it's good, you know, even though you're associated with the project, that you make disclaimers like that, because with any project, it can go to zero. Nothing in crypto is guaranteed.
Nothing's guaranteed. Anything can drop to zero. I mean, technically, like maybe it has like 18 leading zeros. It's like 0.000000001. It's not exactly zero. So maybe if you bought that asset with like 18 leading zeros and a one, it might actually be a good play, just because it could really only go up from there.
Sure.
But like a lot of things just die off for whatever reason. So you have to be careful. You can't just don't throw your money into random things. Don't have it be like with investing in crypto, you don't want to take, like, let's say you open up a giant bag of Skittles. You don't want to or a giant bag of M&Ms or whatever. You don't want to just take the M&Ms and Skittles and just disperse it and throw it out. And then every Skittle or M&M goes into like a different asset.
Sure.
I think that's stupid. That's gambling. You might as well go to the casino and do that kind of shit. I think what you should actually do is do your research on a small number of assets where you research everything. You understand the liquidity. You understand the top players. You understand the tokenomics. You understand the value proposition, and then go from there. Like that. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if people wanted to get into internet money, the first thing that I would look at is like, what's the value proposition? Who holds the top wallets? What is the behavior and the psychology of those wallets? I'd start digging through their transactions, looking at their history, like basically looking at their bank statements. I would be looking at like what is their like track record of success? What are the possible like security vulnerabilities or like other attack vectors, or is there any like issues with it being classified as securities or anything like that? Like the research has to be super comprehensive, but most people suck at research. They just depend on other people to do the research for them. They put their money into something and lose it, and then they blame everyone else. I don't think that's good. I think you need to take responsibility for whatever you choose.
Absolutely. Great advice. I know you got to go, so I don't want to hold you.
Yeah, that is. I think we'll just leave it there, because I got to take my daughter. She's looking to get something to eat. She's hangry. Well, it's time to like transit. Wolverine needs to go into dad mode, and
of course,
transition that way. But
so again, he's going to jump off. I'll be here for a few minutes. Thank you to your daughter for allowing us the time with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all you do, all your wisdom. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, my pleasure. This was a great conversation. I had a great time tonight, and I also learned a lot from you. And hopefully this could help other people, because I think there's a lot of good information packed in this video. So thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys, for joining the chat, too. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye now. All
right. Well, I'll be here for another couple of minutes. Let's go through a few more comments before we wrap up. If you have any final questions for me, I'm happy to hit them. Ronnie, the wallet, the Internet Money wallet, the native PulseChain wallet we're building, you will not be claiming IMD. You'll be claiming IM and free IM and free Pulse. Let's see. Good stream. Thank you. Had a lot of fun. Don, agreed. Please like and subscribe. If you can find all my socials on kg.money. Great stream. Thank you. And Gunther, we trust. Gunther is bullish. You're right. A lot of people can't handle straight up anymore. It is sad. Thanks for the information. You're welcome. Happy to give it. Appreciate the subscription. Unka will. All right. Well, today's video, we learned about the Internet Money ecosystem, the native PulseChain wallet, the first wallet in crypto to not only give users free tokens in Pulse and IM, but also the first wallet in crypto history tokenizing wallet fees. Holders of our token IMD will earn a portion of the fees the wallet generates in the form of Pulse. Holding IMD equals passive income in the form of Pulse. First time we've seen this in crypto history. It's beautiful. It's decentralized. It's exactly the way it should be. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Quick question. How do I claim free Pulse and IM? Basically, you're going to download the wallet, the Internet Money Wallet, which will be an iOS app, an Android app, and a Chrome extension. But on the iOS and Android app, you will be able to claim. We're still working through the exact functionality, but it'll be as simple as claiming. And that's it. Subscribed and liked. Thank you very much. So again, thank you everybody for watching. At the end of this, on the way out, I'm going to actually play a song and a little video that was created by an amazing member of our community, Base God, and it is the Internet Money Anthem. So if you have an extra 2 minutes after this video, please stick around and enjoy that. When wallet release date, we are in the discovery process, hopefully going to come out of that soon. And the wallet development time is about 6 to 7 months from the time we come out of the discovery, which should be very soon. And we have a dedicated 11-man team working on this. We have smart contract developers, back-end developers, UI developers. We have a project manager, a CTO. We have a full dedicated dev team that this is their primary focus. Their modus operandi, their mission is creating the cleanest, most user-friendly, easy to approach wallet in crypto history. We are targeting the no coiner. We are targeting the new money and bringing that new money into PulseChain. PulseChain cannot succeed without new money. We need users, and we are going out there in the trenches on the ground floor, recruiting every single person we can, giving them every incentive in the world to jump on PulseChain, the best blockchain the world has ever known. Again, thank you all for being here this evening. Appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great night. Stick around for the song. Peace.
What is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is more than just money. Cryptocurrency is a lifestyle, a philosophy, an ecosystem, the means by which human beings to attain financial freedom, not just in the sense of multiplying their investment, but giving humans the ability to interact with money in any way that they see fit. And if that way doesn't already exist, that's the beauty of crypto, is you can create it. And that's what we've done here. Internet money is the future. Internet money is the future. What is internet money, you ask? Well, it's just that.